In the ever-evolving world of music, where trends come and go faster than a TikTok sound, one thing never loses its shine: K-pop. It's more than just catchy tunes and synchronized dance moves. It's a universe built on passion, obsession, and relentless ambition. As 2025 unfolds, the K-pop scene has reached a whole new level of dominance. The competition isn't just fierce, it's monumental. Every comeback feels like a global event, every teaser like a spark that sets the internet ablaze. But behind the glittering stages and viral challenges, there's a battlefield powered by numbers: album sales, streaming records, brand reputation, and fan engagement. This year, the data doesn't lie. The charts have spoken, and the kings of 2025 are here. From third-gen legends who still rule the world to the new bloods rewriting the rules, each group on this list earned their spot not by hype alone, but through undeniable results. These are the teams that turn dedication into dominance, turning sleepless nights into platinum milestones. Yet K-pop in 2025 isn't just music, it's movement. It's a global wave fueled by fans who build entire digital empires around their idols, by artists who push creativity to the limit, and by an industry that knows exactly how to make the world stop and listen. Whether you're a longtime stan or a casual listener, this year's lineup will make you rethink what it means to be the best. Because being number one isn't about luck, it's about legacy. So buckle up, because we're about to count down the 7 best K-pop boy bands of 2025, based not on rumors or opinions, but on real numbers, hard-earned success, and stories that define an era. Let's go!
Number 7. Enhypen. Rising from the new generation with an intensity that's impossible to ignore, Enhypen continues to prove that they are more than just another rookie success story. They're a powerhouse built on evolution, precision, and global connection. In 2025, their presence in the industry feels sharper than ever, driven by a mix of confident artistry and deep emotional storytelling. Their latest era showcased a maturity that even longtime fans didn't see coming, with themes that balance vulnerability and strength in equal measure. What makes Enhypen stand out isn't just their music, it's their ability to transform every comeback into a cinematic experience. When Bad Desire, With or Without You dropped, it wasn't just another single, it was a statement. The track's debut on Spotify's global chart with nearly 2 million streams wasn't a fluke. It was proof of the group's ever-expanding influence across continents. Their stage performances hit differently too. The energy, the synchronization, the tension before every drop, it's all a masterclass in stage presence. Each member brings their own personality to the group's chemistry, but what ties them together is the silent understanding that they're part of something bigger than themselves. Their fans and genies know it too. The loyalty and emotional depth of this fandom have turned Enhypen's every release into an international celebration. On streaming platforms, on stage, and in fan events, that bond feels electric, like watching a new chapter of K-pop history being written in real time. 2025 also marks a turning point for Enhypen as they transition from rising stars into established icons. Their artistry feels more deliberate now, each lyric, each concept, each visual choice woven together like a film. They're not chasing trends, they're setting a tone, creating a lane where nostalgia meets innovation. And the numbers back it up. Millions of sales, chart placements, and packed arenas from Seoul to Los Angeles. Yet beyond all those stats lies the real magic, the sense that Enhypen's story is still unfolding, that this is just the beginning of something much bigger. In an era where attention spans are short and competition is fierce, Enhypen stands out by staying genuine, by letting their growth speak louder than words. They've learned how to balance youth and professionalism, vulnerability and confidence, and that's exactly what keeps them moving upward. Their music, filled with layers of emotion and complexity, mirrors the duality of the world they came from. Born in front of cameras, shaped by expectations, yet grounded by the raw desire to connect through sound. As the 7th spot on our list, Enhypen doesn't just represent the future. They represent the evolution of what boy band means in the modern era. A blend of art, discipline, and heart that refuses to fade no matter how the spotlight shifts.
Number 6. The Boys. If there's one group that embodies the meaning of persistence, it's The Boys. In 2025, they've carved a space that feels entirely their own, somewhere between the electric energy of performance and the emotional resonance of storytelling. They aren't the loudest group in K-pop, but they might just be one of the most consistent, and that's exactly what makes their success so satisfying to watch. Since their debut, the boys have been on a marathon, not a sprint. Every comeback feels like a carefully calculated step forward, never rushed, never half-hearted. And this year, that steady pace paid off. Their music, marked by intricate choreography and clean vocals, has evolved into a signature blend of intensity and charm that pulls fans in from the very first beat. In 2025, they stood tall among giants, not because they screamed the loudest, but because they performed the smartest. Their presence in Korea's top brand reputation rankings proves their steady grip on public attention, while their growing international fan base shows how far their reach has expanded. The boys didn't get here overnight. They fought through the waves of ever-changing trends, through an industry that sometimes overlooks groups that build slowly, but they never stopped. Their 2025 performances are proof of that growth, dynamic stages that mix powerful dance precision with emotional nuance. Watching them perform feels like seeing a storm build. Quiet confidence at first, then an explosion of movement and passion that fills the entire stage. And behind that energy lies the fans, the B. They've built a reputation for being deeply connected to the group, turning every achievement into a shared victory. Whether it's pushing their favorite tracks on global streaming charts or creating viral fan projects online, the dedication is unwavering. That bond isn't accidental. It's the result of years of honesty, communication, and authenticity between artist and audience. The boys also embody something rare in K-pop: teamwork that feels real. Every member plays a vital role, and that harmony shows both on and off the stage. They know how to switch from explosive energy to quiet introspection in seconds, creating performances that feel alive, unpredictable, and deeply human. That's their secret weapon, the ability to connect emotion to execution. In a year where newer groups fight for headlines and older ones guard their legacies, the boys sit in that golden middle ground, experienced enough to command the stage, young enough to keep evolving. Their place at number 6 isn't about being underrated, it's about being unstoppable in their own rhythm. Because in the ever-shifting world of K-pop, where fame flickers and fades fast, the boys have chosen the slow burn, and it's working. They've become a reminder that true success doesn't always explode. It grows, it builds, it lasts.
Number 5, SHINee. When you talk about longevity in K-pop, one name inevitably shines brighter than most: SHINee. In 2025, they remain living proof that true artistry doesn't age, it evolves. They're not just idols, they're cultural touchstones, shaping the very definition of what a boy band can be long before the term became global. For over a decade, SHINee has walked through every era of K-pop, from the experimental stages of the late 2000s to the hyper-digital generation of today, and somehow they've managed to stay relevant, refreshing, and still completely magnetic. Their sound, always ahead of its time, has matured into something that feels timeless. Each comeback isn't just a musical release, it's a chapter in a story fans have been reading for years, one written in sweat, growth, and resilience. And in 2025, that story continues stronger than ever. What makes SHINee's presence so powerful is the effortless way they bridge the past and the present. While other groups chase trends, SHINee sets moods. Their performances have that rare blend of nostalgia and innovation, a kind of emotional gravity that can make a stadium full of people go silent 1 second and erupt the next. The way they command a stage isn't just experience, it's legacy in motion. Every step, every note, every look carries years of history, years of shared emotion with fans who've grown alongside them. And those fans, Shawwals, remain among the most devoted in the industry. They don't just support SHINee, they protect them, celebrate them, and remind the world why this group still matters. Even with individual activities, acting, solo albums, fashion projects, when SHINee reunites, something magical happens. The chemistry between them is effortless, the kind that only comes from years of surviving together through fame, loss, and reinvention. In an industry obsessed with newness, SHINee proves that authenticity is the ultimate trend. The data backs it up too. In multiple brand reputation rankings throughout 2025, SHINee consistently lands in the top 5, proving their impact isn't nostalgia-driven, it's current, real, and measurable. That's the power of legacy done right. They've become a bridge for generations of fans, older stans who witnessed their debut, and younger ones discovering their brilliance through streaming platforms. It's rare for a group to maintain such a balance, but SHINee thrives in it. Their music speaks across time zones and age groups, their artistry refined yet daring. Watching them perform in 2025 feels like being reminded why K-pop became a phenomenon in the first place. Because of groups like them, who gave everything to the stage. At number 5, SHINee's placement isn't about competition, it's about endurance. They've proven that legends don't fade when the spotlight moves on. They shine even brighter, guiding the way for the next generation. SHINee's story is a reminder that in K-pop, true greatness isn't just about who's trending, it's about who's still standing, still evolving, and still touching hearts long after the music stops.
Number 4. Big Bang. Some call them legends, others call them pioneers. But no matter what name you give them, one truth remains unshakable. Big Bang is the blueprint. In 2025, even after years of shifting trends and new generations of idols, the shadow of Big Bang still looms large over the K-pop landscape. They are the group that turned rebellion into style, experimentation into sound, and chaos into culture. Their influence isn't just felt, it's embedded into the DNA of every boy band that came after them. The thing about Big Bang is that they were never afraid to be different. While others followed the safe path, they built their own, carving a space between artistry and authenticity that few have ever replicated. From the early days of Lies and Haru Haru to their later anthems like Bang 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 and Fantastic Baby, they didn't just make hits, they defined eras. Fast forward to 2025, and their presence remains as magnetic as ever. Even when they aren't constantly releasing new music, their name still dominates brand reputation rankings, proving that influence doesn't fade, it transforms. When news breaks about a potential project, a solo move, or even a simple public appearance, the internet still trembles. That's the kind of power that can't be manufactured. It's earned through years of daring to stand out in an industry that rewards conformity. Big Bang's members each embody that fearless spirit. G-Dragon continues to be a cultural force, his artistry transcending music, shaping fashion, and influencing generations of creatives across Asia and beyond. Taeyang's voice still resonates with the same soulful power it did a decade ago, and when he steps on stage, there's an aura that no training system can replicate. T.O.P., unpredictable as ever, remains the enigma fans can't stop talking about. Daesung and Seungri's past roles in shaping the group's dynamic are still remembered with a mix of admiration and nostalgia. Together, they built a legacy that no scandal, no hiatus, and no generational shift can erase. In 2025, when younger groups cite their inspirations, Big Bang's name always comes up. Proof that their artistry isn't just historical, it's foundational. Their sound was the first to blur the line between K-pop and Western pop culture, and their attitude, the unapologetic confidence, became a model for idols everywhere. They didn't just break rules, they rewrote them. And maybe that's why their influence feels timeless. Even when quiet, they're never absent. Even without new music, they remain in conversations, playlists, and hearts. Their fans, VIPs, are a rare breed too, loyal, patient, and passionate. They've stayed through the highs and lows, the golden years, and the silences because they understand what Big Bang truly represents. Not perfection, but authenticity. In an age where image often overshadows substance, Big Bang reminds everyone that imperfection can be powerful, that raw emotion and individuality still matter. Their ranking at number 4 isn't about fading glory, it's about unshakable legacy. Because while other groups chased the crown, Big Bang built the throne. They didn't just change K-pop, they became the standard by which greatness is measured. And in 2025, as the next generation rises, they do so standing firmly on the foundation that Big Bang created, with fire, freedom, and fearless creativity that will echo for decades to come.
Number 3. BTS. There are legends, and then there is BTS, the group that didn't just conquer K-pop, but rewrote the global definition of success itself. Even in 2025, after a period of individual activities, military service, and silence that could have buried any other artist, BTS stands not just as a name, but as a phenomenon that refuses to fade. This year, their presence in the industry feels almost mythic, like an echo that keeps resonating no matter how many years pass. They don't have to release an album every few months to make headlines. Their legacy breathes on its own. Every mention of a reunion, every hint of a solo performance, every anniversary sparks a wave that ripples through the internet, turning nostalgia into a living, breathing force. Because BTS isn't just a band, they're an era, a story, a movement. To understand their impact in 2025, you have to look beyond charts and numbers. Sure, the data is still astonishing. They've topped brand reputation rankings multiple times this year despite minimal group activity. They dominate streaming even without new releases, and their old tracks continue to appear in Spotify's global charts years after their debut. But the real magic lies in how they've transcended the industry's boundaries. BTS no longer competes within K-pop. They've become a genre of their own. Their music is still studied, their lyrics still quoted, their influence still shaping how new idols define success. The word legend gets thrown around too easily, but in the case of BTS, it almost feels too small. What makes BTS unique in 2025 isn't just what they've done, it's how their story continues to evolve even in absence. When most artists slow down, BTS seems to grow bigger. Their solo projects throughout the past few years have expanded the group's identity rather than diluting it. Jungkook breaking records as a solo artist with streaming numbers rivaling international pop icons. Jimin redefining performance artistry with his intricate stage concepts. V exploring his raw emotional side in stripped-down music. Suga continuing to innovate as both producer and performer. RM diving deep into literature and artistry. Jin and J-Hope leaving lasting impressions even during their military service. It all adds up to something larger than the sum of its parts. Each member represents a different shade of creativity, and together they continue to embody what it means to evolve without losing authenticity. Their influence also remains unmatched on the global stage. In 2025, there is still no other Korean act that commands the same level of global recognition, media attention, and cultural respect. From world leaders quoting their lyrics to universities analyzing their cultural impact, BTS has moved from pop culture to history books. Even the mere announcement of their post-military reunion has been described as one of the most anticipated events in entertainment history, with pre-event hashtags trending across countries within minutes. That kind of influence doesn't come from marketing, it comes from connection. And connection has always been BTS's greatest weapon. Their relationship with ARMY, their fandom, is something no algorithm can explain. It's a global family built not just on admiration, but on mutual respect. The fans don't just consume BTS, they grow with them. They donate, they volunteer, they organize global events, they move as one. That bond is emotional, cultural, and even spiritual. It's the reason BTS continues to dominate brand rankings even when inactive. Their name isn't just associated with fame, it's associated with feeling. They represent hope, vulnerability, and the power of perseverance in a world that often feels overwhelming. And that's something no marketing team can manufacture. But to truly grasp why BTS remains number 3 in 2025, you have to understand their journey as a whole. They came from a small company, with almost no industry backing in a market already flooded with established acts. Their first years were marked by struggle, ridicule, and countless setbacks. Yet they turned every rejection into fuel. They didn't just break through the system, they changed it. The model of artist-fan interaction, the rise of social media as a promotional powerhouse, the global wave of K-pop, it all carries BTS's fingerprints. Their narrative of authenticity and vulnerability made them relatable in ways no idol group had achieved before. They showed the world that you can be both ambitious and emotional, both powerful and human. And that's why even now, in the middle of their chapter of reflection and renewal, the world still waits for their next move like it's the second coming of a cultural revolution. Financially, their influence remains staggering. Even during their hiatus, HYBE, BTS's parent company, still sees the group as its cornerstone.
with reports showing that over 60% of fan engagement across their global platforms continues to revolve around BTS content. Merch sales, older albums, digital streaming, and even museum-like exhibitions dedicated to BTS continue to generate millions in revenue annually. And yet, when you look at the group itself, money seems secondary. Their focus has always been storytelling. Their discography reads like a diary of youth, ambition, burnout, and healing. Songs like Spring Day, Butterfly, and Yet to Come have transcended the K-pop label, becoming modern anthems of hope and endurance. In 2025, those songs feel more relevant than ever, resonating with a world still searching for comfort in chaos. BTS's artistry also lies in their ability to age gracefully within the idol system. As most groups dissolve or rebrand within a decade, BTS continues to mature alongside their fans. Their themes have evolved from youthful rebellion to introspection, from chasing dreams to understanding oneself. It's that honesty that keeps them immortal. When people talk about their eventual full group comeback, it's with the same anticipation as a world event, not a mere album drop, because BTS isn't returning to reclaim fame. They never lost it. They're returning to remind the world why they mattered in the first place. Even industry insiders acknowledge that the BTS effect still dictates market movement. Every time they release a statement or tease new music, it influences other artists' release schedules, brand campaigns, and even broadcast strategies. It's a level of power unseen before in Asian entertainment. Their global reach still stretches from Seoul to Sao Paulo, from stadium tours to social causes. They've performed for the UN, represented their generation in world forums, and inspired countless artists to use music as a form of self-expression rather than performance. And perhaps that's the most powerful part of their legacy. They made authenticity fashionable. Their journey told millions of young people that imperfection isn't weakness, it's art. At number 3, BTS represents the point where fame becomes faith and music becomes meaning. They no longer need to prove anything. They've already changed everything. But even now, in 2025, with the promise of their return on the horizon, one thing is certain. The story of BTS isn't over. It's simply entering its next chapter. A chapter that will once again redefine what it means to dream, to create, and to belong. Because when history looks back on this era of music, it won't just remember the hits, the awards, or the records. It will remember 7 men who turned their pain into poetry and their dreams into a revolution. And even if the charts someday stop spinning, BTS will remain, etched not just in the history of K-pop, but in the memory of an entire generation that learned to love themselves because of them.
Number 2, 17. If K-pop were a universe, 17 would be its constellations, bright, complex, interconnected, and always expanding. In 2025, they stand as one of the most unstoppable forces in the industry, blending artistry, brotherhood, and raw performance energy into something truly unmatched. They're not just idols anymore, they're craftsmen, engineers of sound, emotion, and spectacle. Theirs is a story not of overnight stardom, but of meticulous evolution, driven by a relentless pursuit of excellence and a bond that feels more like family than fame. 17 began as underdogs, a 13-member experiment in synchronization and self-production, but today they are the gold standard for teamwork in the music world. In an era when so many groups rise and vanish within a few years, 17's rise has been a masterclass in consistency and innovation. Every comeback feels monumental, not just because of the numbers, but because of the intention behind every move. And in 2025, those numbers are mind-blowing. Their latest album, Happy Birthday, shattered expectations by selling over 2.5 million copies in its first week, making it one of the highest first-week album sales in K-pop that year. Those aren't just statistics, they're statements. Each sale represents a fan who believes in them, a listener moved by their sound, and a connection forged between artist and audience. That's the essence of 17, sincerity wrapped in perfection. But what truly separates them from everyone else isn't just their success, it's how they've built it.
Unlike most idol groups who rely heavily on their agencies for creative direction, 17 has always been deeply involved in their own music. Woozy, the group's quiet genius, continues to shape their sonic identity with lyrical depth and melodic sophistication that defies genre limits. From euphoric anthems like Super to emotionally rich ballads that tug at heartstrings, their discography is proof that you can make commercial hits without compromising authenticity. Each member, whether through vocals, rap, dance, or stage direction, contributes to the group's creative core. They're living proof that collaboration can be art in itself. And that collaboration shines brightest on stage. 17's performances in 2025 remain a breathtaking fusion of energy, precision, and emotion. Watching them perform feels like watching an organism move. 13 bodies, one heartbeat. Every transition, every formation, every breath is synchronized yet alive, bursting with individuality within unity. It's this rare chemistry that makes their concerts legendary, often selling out within minutes, with fans traveling across continents just to witness their magic in person. Their connection with Carrots, their fandom, is unlike anything else. It's not just idol and fan, it's partnership. 17 has always treated their audience as equals in their journey. They speak openly about their struggles, celebrate milestones as shared victories, and constantly remind fans that their success belongs to everyone who believes in them. This mutual respect is why their brand reputation rankings stay high month after month. Their authenticity keeps them grounded even as their fame skyrockets. In a world where fame can easily fracture a group, 17 thrives on unity. Their teamwork isn't just a slogan, it's a lifestyle. 13 people, 3 units, hip-hop, vocal, and performance, and yet one identity. Their self-producing label isn't a marketing tool, it's their DNA. Every album, video, and concert bears their personal fingerprints. That's why fans trust them, because everything 17 releases feels genuine. And their hard work doesn't go unnoticed. In 2025, 17's recognition extends far beyond K-pop. They've become cultural ambassadors, appearing at global award shows, collaborating with international artists, and expanding their musical palette into sounds that appeal universally while staying uniquely Korean. Their artistry has matured into something global yet grounded, sophisticated yet soulful. They've proven that K-pop doesn't need to imitate the West to conquer it. It just needs to be honest, and 17 embodies that truth. Beyond the music, what makes 17 so captivating is their dynamic as a group. There's laughter, there's chaos, there's comfort. It's real. They tease each other, support each other, and cry together. When they stand on stage holding hands, there's no doubt that the bond is authentic. It's a bond built from years of living, rehearsing, and dreaming side by side. That's rare in the industry where most relationships are curated for the cameras. And it's that realness that seeps into everything they do. Their humility despite record-breaking achievements keeps them lovable. Their professionalism despite fatigue keeps them admirable. They're artists who never lost their human touch. Even the industry acknowledges it. Their ability to sustain relevance without major scandals, internal rifts, or creative stagnation is almost unheard of. They've mastered the delicate balance between art and commerce, between individuality and collective identity. And that's why 17's second-place position in 2025 isn't just deserved, it's symbolic. It represents everything that's possible when passion meets discipline, when talent meets trust. They're a living, breathing testament to the power of teamwork in an industry built on competition. Each member has grown into his own while strengthening the group as a whole. And as they enter their next era, it feels like they're not just maintaining success, they're redefining it. Because 17 isn't chasing the top anymore, they're building a legacy that will outlast the trends. Their influence is already visible in the new generation of idols who cite them as role models, who dream of the same creative control and unity. And perhaps that's the ultimate measure of greatness. Not how high you climb, but how many you inspire to follow. In 2025, 17 isn't just one of the best boy bands. They're a symbol of modern K-pop excellence, where music, brotherhood, and vision fuse into something extraordinary. Their story proves that true power in this industry doesn't come from flash or hype, but from authenticity, artistry, and heart. And as they continue to evolve, one thing is clear: 17's light isn't fading, it's multiplying, lighting up the path for every group that dares to dream big and stay true.
Number 1, Stray Kids. If there's one word that defines Stray Kids in 2025, it's dominance. Not the loud, empty kind of dominance that fades with trends, but the kind that grows from authenticity, innovation, and sheer artistic force. This is the year where Stray Kids stopped being the future of K-pop and fully became its present. Every chart, every stage, every global headline bears their name. They're not just performing anymore, they're leading, reshaping, and redefining what a modern K-pop group can be. When you watch Stray Kids, you don't just see a boy band, you see a movement of creativity, chaos, and confidence built from the ground up by 8 minds that refuse to play by the rules. Their 2025 reign is backed by facts, not hype. Their album Ate became the highest-selling K-pop album of the year, surpassing 5 million copies within weeks and dominating charts in Korea, Japan, the US, and Europe simultaneously. They've won Artist of the Year at every major award show, topped Billboard's Global 200, and shattered YouTube records with each music video drop. But what's most impressive isn't the numbers, it's the message behind them. Stray Kids built their empire through pure, creative independence. 3RACHA, Bangchan, Changbin, and Han continue to write, compose, and produce nearly all of the group's songs. In an industry that often relies on external songwriters, Stray Kids' self-made identity sets them apart. Their sound, gritty, experimental, unpredictable, doesn't chase mainstream acceptance. Instead, it dares listeners to step into their world, a world where imperfection is celebrated and chaos is art. That philosophy resonates deeply with their fans, Stay, who see themselves reflected in the group's music, defiant, passionate, unapologetically real. 2025 marks the year Stray Kids reach their creative peak while staying grounded in their roots. Their performances are nothing short of electrifying. Each show feels like a storm, raw, kinetic, impossible to ignore. There's an urgency in how they move, how they scream, how they deliver each line as if it's a declaration of war against mediocrity. Watching them live is an emotional experience. It's rebellion dressed as rhythm. Every concert sells out in minutes, every city echoes with chants that shake arenas to their core. Their stage presence isn't choreographed perfection, it's controlled chaos, a breathtaking symphony of fire, sweat, and spirit. And yet, beneath that energy lies meticulous artistry. Every sound, every visual, every lyric is intentional, crafted with purpose and depth. It's this duality, the wildness and the precision that makes Stray Kids untouchable. Beyond the spectacle, Stray Kids' connection with their fans is what sustains their power. They're accessible without being distant, genuine without losing mystique. The members talk about burnout, insecurity, and self-doubt not as weaknesses, but as shared experiences. Bangchan's live streams continue to be safe havens for millions, where honesty flows freely and fandom feels like family. That transparency is why fans trust them. They're global superstars, but they never lost their human touch. They cry on stage, they laugh at mistakes, and they constantly remind fans that their success belongs to everyone who believed in them. From Seoul to Sao Paulo, from Tokyo to Toronto, Stray Kids' reach is universal. Their 2025 world tour, Maniac Reloaded, became one of the highest-grossing tours ever by a K-pop act, rivaling even BTS's legendary Love Yourself series. Critics around the world praise them not just as entertainers, but as cultural architects, artists who turn noise into narrative, rhythm into rebellion. Their lyrics, often packed with metaphors of survival and identity, have become anthems for a generation tired of conformity. They've turned the phrase "Stray Kids everywhere all around the world" into prophecy, one that's now reality. What's fascinating is how they managed to evolve without losing themselves. In 2025, their sound incorporates more live instruments, darker electronic textures, and cinematic storytelling that feels both intimate and colossal. Each member's growth is evident. Hyenjin's performance artistry, Han's lyrical wit, Felix's deep, iconic voice, Ian's steady maturity, Seungmin's technical brilliance, Lino's sharp precision, and Bang Chan's visionary leadership. Together, they've become a creative organism, moving as one, yet powered by 8 distinct hearts. Their synergy is rare, too rare, and it's what keeps them at the top. Even when you strip away the lights, the outfits, and the choreography, Stray Kids still stand strong on artistry alone. Their songwriting explores the inner landscapes of ambition, anxiety, and self-belief. They talk about fear without shame, about imperfection with pride. They've made it okay to be messy, to question, to resist. In a world obsessed with flawless images, they've made rawness their aesthetic, and it's working. They've become role models for a new wave of artists who no longer want to fit into molds. The media often calls Stray Kids the heirs of the K-pop throne, but by 2025, that label feels outdated. They're not inheriting anything, they've built their own empire. They've earned their crown through relentless passion, sleepless nights, and fearless innovation. Their success isn't a fluke, it's a formula of heart and hustle, and that's what separates them from everyone else. While some groups fade after a few peaks, Stray Kids keep climbing because their foundation isn't built on trends, it's built on truth. And the truth is, Stray Kids in 2025 represents the evolution of K-pop itself. Global yet grounded, chaotic yet calculated, wild yet wise. Their music transcends genre, their message transcends language, and their influence transcends the industry. They're not just performers, they're storytellers of a generation navigating identity in an age of noise. Every beat they drop, every lyric they spit feels like a manifesto for those who refuse to blend in. So when the world looks at the K-pop's greatest boy band of 2025, the data might say it's Stray Kids, but the feeling says it too. You can see it in the sold-out arenas, in the tears of fans who found hope in their chaos, and in the critics who finally admit that this noisy sound changed the game forever. Stray Kids didn't just rise to the top, they redefined what the top means. Because in the end, greatness isn't about perfection, it's about purpose. And in 2025, no one embodies that better than Stray Kids. 8 dreamers who turn their pain into power, their noise into revolution, and their journey into history.